To 3-star your trials this week, you're going to have to loot 3 weapon crates. You're going to have to damage arc enemies in the Red Lakes, deal as much damage as possible using 1 single blaze grenade, deal damage to shredders, and damage bombardiers. This is a really interesting selection. Embark are getting way more creative with these trials. We love to see it. And I'm going to show you how to 3-star all of these easily and pick up all of your free blueprint rewards for doing so. First up, loot weapon crates. You only need to find 3 of these to get your 3 stars. I'd recommend loading up the Metaforge website, which I've got right here, loading into Buried City, and you just want to check on weapon crates like that, and this website will show you exactly where to find them all. Just make your way around Buried City. Because it's the smallest map, it's going to be the easiest one to get this done. If you find a weapon crate and it's been looted already, it doesn't matter. It contributes to your score. And for anyone trying to max out, obviously just keep going after you've got your 3 and see how high you can get your score. I actually got mine completed on Stellamontis, which is a little bit trickier. Some of those weapon crates are hidden in very strange little nooks and crannies, but I just happened to be there and whilst I was working on my deal damage to shredders. The next trial is damage arc enemies in the Red Lakes. That is this area right here on Dam, this whole area. This trial is going to be the most contested. So for starters, be careful of other raiders. There's going to be a lot of people here trying to shoot arc because the arc here is fairly limited, and if you come across players who are trying to max out their scores, it's going to get pretty competitive. What I would recommend doing is farming some snitch scanners, finding a little private area somewhere on the lake away from other raiders whilst you tackle this trial. My method was to shoot at pretty much everything. You just have to make sure that what you're shooting at is actually over or on the lake. There was a few people shooting at this leaper that got wedged up on a railing, and I took a couple shots at it and it didn't contribute to the score. So don't waste your time shooting at stuff that's out of the bounds of the lake itself. And what ended up happening in my round was a turbine spawned on the lake. I had my Bettina with me and I was just popping shots at the very base of the turbine. This is a pretty good high damage area of the turbine which doesn't have any armor, and for some reason shooting it with the Bettina didn't trigger the turbine's defense mechanism. I wasn't being shot at by its crazy electric missiles compared to when I was using my Hullcracker on it and it was trying to send me back to Speranza knocked out cold after every single shot. So I don't know if we found a little bug here, but I would recommend trying it out if you do have a Bettina. You might even be able to try this with the Anvil. Shoot the very base of the turbine or even in between the little gaps and try and shoot the core of the turbine. Make sure you have a decent position far enough away. You can also set up a barricade, and those things pretty much absorb any damage that comes out of the turbine's defensive mechanism as well. I wasn't expecting to see a turbine here, so I didn't come very well prepared, but that's how I got my 3 stars done, and I highly recommend giving that a go. But just remember, this week that area is going to be very contested. Just be friendly and get out of there once you've hit your 3 stars to get your rewards. Moving on to this week's most unique trial, deal as much damage as possible using a blaze grenade. This trial involves trying to get the highest score using 1 single blaze grenade. So technically you only need 1 of these, but I recommend trying to farm a few at least because you might find you don't hit 3 stars the first time you try this. The best place to get these grenades, if we pull up Buried City on the Metaforge website, we can switch over from the weapon crates to the grenade tubes just like that. And as you can see, there's loads of these. These are not guaranteed spawns, but this is where they will spawn if they are in that round. If you have the blueprint, obviously you can craft them. You can also find these very commonly in red lockers and other containers in industrial areas, as well as security breaches. And another way you can get these, which is a little bit more random, is by feeding Scrappy lemons. On the odd occasion, as you can see here, Scrappy will give you a blaze grenade for feeding him a lemon. And the blueprint itself is fairly commonly found within the loading bay area on Stellamontis, especially during a night raid. So if you're looking for the blueprint, I'd recommend heading into that map condition. As I mentioned earlier, you only need 1 grenade to get this score, and the arc you want to use it on is a leaper. But there is a little trick to this. You need to make sure you shed off some of the leaper's armor before you throw the grenade. So if you see a leaper, you just want to put a couple shots on it, bait it over to you, make sure you're in a nice doorway, somewhere enclosed where it can't come inside and attack you. The first time I had to go at this, I just threw the blaze grenade at the leaper without having shot it at all, and my score didn't reach 3000. It stopped at just below. So I loaded into another round and I found a leaper that someone had already been shooting at, so some of the armor was peeled off the legs. I took a few shots to get some more armor off the legs. Once it flew over to me, I threw the grenade, and as you can see, the damage was ticking over and we hit 3 stars. and it's really that straightforward. The fourth trial this week is deal damage to shredders. My favorite map to take on shredders is Stellamontis. Load yourself in with a Hullcracker and a bunch of ammo and just let rip on every single shredder you see. I had to take down 5 shredders to get my 3 stars. The damage I was doing with the Hullcracker seemed a little bit inconsistent. I have no idea why. 5 shredders will guarantee you those 3 stars. Just make sure you extract and get those juicy rewards. I completed my loot weapon crates and damage shredders trial in the same round, and we got some pretty nice blueprints for that one. The final trial this week is damaged Bombadiers, and my favorite map to do this is Riventides. For some reason, Riventides is a fairly quiet map, and I think that might be because a lot of people hate the map, so you don't run into too many raiders there, which means it's pretty much a free-for-all on all of the large arc. I found a Bombardier in the dried up river right outside the hotel, so I let rip into that. I destroyed the whole thing completely solo with the Hullcracker, and it didn't get me my 3 stars. I had to wait for a second Bombardier to load in, and I started shooting at that with my Hullcracker, and that gave me the 3 stars. You don't have to finish off the second Bombardier in order to get your 3 stars, but obviously if you do, it's going to give you a bigger score if you're trying to move up in the trials rankings. And again with this one, the damage seemed a little bit inconsistent. For the first Bombardier that I destroyed, I was just a few points off of 3,000, which would have got me my 3 stars. But with the second Bombardier, after destroying that, I was almost a couple of hundred. So the numbers weren't really adding up there. I'm not sure why, but we got our 3 stars. We got the hell out of there, and that's how you're going to easily 3-star every trial this week. If you found this helpful, please like, subscribe. Have an awesome day, and I'll catch you in the next one.